Greetings, good people. Welcome to another edition of Double the Innocence with your boy E Double, bringing it to you live and direct. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are having yourself a blessed day. Before I even get started, share, like, and subscribe. You guys, don't be shy, man. Hit those like buttons. The topic today is going to be about depression. Yeah, I'm going to be starting it off with a bang. This particular conversation, it's very, very dear to me. Very dear to me. And the reason why it's so close to the heart is because I'm an individual. I suffer from depression. Now, I'm going to explain a little bit about my history. Five years ago, I lost the most important individual in my life. I lost a lady that gave me life. And you guys got to understand something. My mom, when I was growing up, was probably one of the strongest ladies I ever knew. I don't recall my mother ever calling in sick, taking a sick day from work. I don't recall ever seeing my mom stay in bed because she wasn't feeling well. Don't get me wrong. It's very possible these things might have happened. But I am being totally honest when I tell you, I have no recollection of any of this. I used to get up, I used to see my mother get up every single morning at the crack of dawn, and I'm talking about before the sun even came up. 5 a.m. every single morning, and my mom was out at the bus stop waiting for the bus to go to work by 6 a.m. And my mother worked Monday to Friday. But that routine didn't change on Saturday nor Sunday. She was up early doing whatever had to be done. Maybe cleaning the house, maybe going to the grocery, whatever it was. That routine never changed. So, that being said, when I saw my mom get into the 70s and she started to slow down and stuff like that, it was an eye-opener for me. And I started to try and get myself mentally prepared for my mom's passing, because I do know what life has to hold. You live, you love, and then you pass on. So I started to try and get myself mentally prepared for it, saying, you know what? Yeah, the day's coming, unfortunately. And the reason why I felt it was very important to get myself mentally prepared was because when that day actually happened, yes, it was going to affect me, but I would be able to handle it. I'd be able to get through it, shed a few tears here and there, but overall just have a nice strong stance. Moving forward, the day that my mom passed in the hospital, my whole world turned upside down. And I could not understand why I was having so much trouble dealing with this, because I was under the impression that I had it figured out. I had the platform of how you had to get through this. I thought it was like exercise. You train yourself. If you train yourself on a daily basis, you're going to get stronger. You're going to develop muscles. So for some strange reason, I figured if I got myself mentally prepared, if I was doing the mental exercises, I was going to be mentally strong. And when I realized the emotions were coming and I could not control it whatsoever, Niagara Falls didn't have anything on me that morning. Okay. I understand. I understood at that point in time. It's fresh. So yeah, okay. I wasn't prepared for this, but okay. It was everything else that took place after that just had me at a total loss. I found myself watching movies and just having uncontrollable emotions off of the slightest little thing in a movie, but it brought out the heaviest emotions out of me. I couldn't relate to it. Because up until that point, anybody who knew anything about your boy, emotions was something that I was not prepared to display in public. The only emotion that I really had absolutely no problems displaying in public was one of anger. Because when I was younger, I was known to have a little bit of a quick temper. So that emotion, but I was never ashamed of showing that emotion. But when it came to me, when it came to a grown man shedding tears, uncontrollable tears, I couldn't handle it. I found myself waiting for elevators, pressing the button for an elevator with a crowd of people around me and trying to hide tears. I found myself waking up in the middle of the night. Going through the same issues. And I didn't know which way was up, which way was down. I spent a lot of time just sitting in total darkness. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't recognize the man that was looking back at me. It's one thing. I was prepared to go through what I had to go through. But I really thought that it was going to be on my time schedule. I was prepared to go through the emotions. I was prepared to cry. I was prepared to do it all. But I thought I was going to have the control of that. And when I started having feelings that I couldn't control, that was it for me. That was it. All this to say, I spent 5 years suffering in silence. I think I did a pretty good job because really and truly a lot of people weren't aware of my issues. Thank goodness for that, because I mean, I do know that I had a few close friends or whatever that realized that I wasn't myself 100%. But I never actually sat down and spoke to anybody in depth about exactly what I was going through or how I was feeling. Now, I made the one mistake. never went and got the help that's recommended for people that are going through mental health issues. You see, because I come from a cultural pride. You know, back in our era, even though, you know, it wasn't right, but those are the rules and regulations that we were brought up under. You know, boys don't cry. Sounds ridiculous now, because I think I've cried enough for every single boy there is out there. I'm glad. A little part of me is kind of happy that I went through what I went through, because it's given me added strength that I didn't have before. And the added strength is me being on this platform right now, being able to talk about my own personal issues to whoever's willing to listen. I'm kind of hoping that the mistakes I made will prevent somebody who's actually going through these same trials and tribulations right now not to make those same mistakes. When it comes to your mental state, swallow your pride. Because you're only doing injustice to yourself. Now, I had given myself certain guidelines. Because of the fact of the matter that I knew who I was before I started going through these issues, I give myself guidelines to say, like, without the shadow of a doubt, if I check any of these particular things off in the box, then pride, no pride, I'll definitely go in and talk to somebody, because I would definitely not know who I was at that point in time if I start to have thoughts, if I start to think about harming myself, if I ever start to have those type of thoughts. Because anybody who knows me knows that I have a zest, I have a love for life. So that would have been the one thing that it wouldn't have been open for discussion for myself. That was my own personal test to let me know that you're not right and you need to get help. Thank God I never had those problems. I never had those thoughts. I never had those issues. And as far as I'm concerned, I never will. I'm here talking to you guys 5 years later. It's a daily struggle for me, but I'm at a better place with myself. Why? Because I've taken the time to identify the trigger points. My trigger points are around this time, the holidays. I want to be able to instill some confidence in my culture, my race, especially the men, to swallow your pride talk to somebody, get whatever help you feel you need. Don't suffer. And by all means, don't suffer alone, because when you suffer alone, trust me, that's a lonely place to be. I call it the black hole. Because sometimes it feels like you're so deep in that hole that you just don't even have the energy to make a U-turn and try to climb out of it. And it's not a fun place to be. I do believe that there has to be things implemented to make individuals such as myself, stubborn, prideful individuals. There needs to be something set up to make it more, how could I say it, more where we'd feel much more comfortable to use it. Because I mean, you know, when people are going through things, you have individuals that say, yeah, you know, you talk to somebody, get help. Those are easy words to throw out there, but for an individual that's actually going through it, where do you start? Okay, they say you could call a hotline. Now, remember, we're talking to people who are very proud. And you're asking these individuals to pick a phone up and talk to a complete stranger and let a complete stranger know what they're feeling? I can honestly tell you that wouldn't have worked for me. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I am on my platform, and I am going to be talking about this very often. I'm also planning on having a platform for an open discussion. Maybe have something like Emotion Monday, where people could actually call in, come up on the platform, and we could just talk about it. And the reason why I want to do that is because, like I said before, there might actually be somebody that's suffering, that might have been suffering longer than I've been suffering, that I could learn something from. There might be actually somebody that's suffering that actually went and got the help that they needed to get. And maybe they could instill that confidence, maybe not in me, but in somebody else, to make that first step. How did they get confident to do it? How that first session, what was it like? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to enjoy the content that I plan on bringing, because like I said, it's going to touch some serious points. I have no choice but to touch some serious points because I am dealing with some of those serious points. That being said, this is not going to be a pity party. It's not going to be a place where anybody's going to be coming up here looking for sympathy. No. I want it to be a potluck. I want everybody to throw something in where every and anybody could take something out. If it's your own personal experience, if it's something that you're going through, if it's maybe a family member, whatever it may be. Especially when we're talking about the mental health issues. I want that to be my biggest audiences. And I want people to take it for what it's worth. Take it for the seriousness that it is. And understand that, believe it or not, it took me a while to realize this is a major league problem. There's a lot of people suffering. There's a lot of people suffering in silence. It took me to hit ground zero for me to realize that, because that was something I would have taken for granted when everything was just status quo. Everything was perfect in my little world. But now that I'm here, and I realize that it's not a cut. It's nothing that's going to heal today or tomorrow. This is my life. Most likely probably for the rest of my life. Now I just need to find a way to adjust and deal with it. I tell people it's like walking with a limp. You're walking with that limp for the rest of your life. My depression is my limp. We are going to be having many more conversations about this, ladies and gentlemen. Double the Innocence is going to be bringing content that it's going to be stuff that's affecting real life. I want you guys to like, subscribe, and share. And if you guys know anybody that's suffering, let them know, man. We want to hear from them. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to have yourself a wonderful day. We're going to be bringing some more. My next topic of conversation is going to be a little bit more uplifting. Find a little something to make you guys laugh. Stay tuned. Double the Innocence is out. E-double is out.